Shalom Yasharala, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you. This is truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation, much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I'm going to showcase these two quick videos real quick, but hey, this is the end of Babylon, all right, as you know it, the normal Babylon as you know it.
This is Dabu7. A heads up for folks out there that like to travel and like to stay at hotels. A look at what could be happening here in the future, as we have Scotland setting the bar here with a hotel there now saying that they're not going to allow people to come in if they've not been vaccinated. A no vaccine, no service policy is being used here. Now, we've witnessed the airlines roll this out, many different ones. Many countries are taking a stance saying that if you don't have a vaccination, you can't even enter. So what this means now is that even if countries don't mandate this or states don't mandate this, what will happen is they will say you simply can't go anywhere or do anything. And this is what has already begun. So as people cannot board flights, and then people get to places like Scotland, try to get a hotel, and then are told you can't unless you can prove that you've been vaccinated, you're going to be out of luck. Now, I can see this spreading rather rapidly. All the big chains, all the big names will be a part of this. They will listen to the establishment. All the small businesses, in turn, are getting wiped out. If you can do anything out there right now, support your locals, support your farmers. This is Dabu7. We'll take a look around the world here, and we can see that many countries are rolling out the same guidelines, same rules. All these world leaders just so happen to have a piece of paper or something telling them to do the exact same things, and they're doing it. Doesn't that get...
He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, causeth all great temptation that shall come upon all the earth.
concern any of you? That all these world leaders seem to be in a club and on a team together outside of us? Because it's happening. And I don't care if you think that a country's your enemy or not. That's just what the TV tells you. Because when all the world leaders are implementing the same thing on their people, it shows they're all in on it together. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Also doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that we're getting played. And the people in different countries are getting, well, they're getting a little bit different depending on how your leadership is, how their thinking is. In China, they say, even though over 1 million people have gotten the jab, you still got to social distance, or you're going to get in trouble. It's going to put a ding on your social credit score. You still got to wear your mask. You still got to obey and bow down.
Hey, Google or YouTube, China social credit system, all right? That'll give you an idea of what it's going to be like up under this here beast system. They already pretty much got it in play over there, the Chinese social credit system.
Do you understand that? Even after the vaccine has been implemented. So for everyone that thought they were going back to normal life after a vaccine, that was a pipe dream. That's just what you were hoping for. Vaccines are coming out, people are getting jabbed, and this whole way of life is staying the same. And
that's the point right there. Real quick, give me a second. All right, there's a side note, China's social credit system. All right, watching these here videos of how they have everybody, or this one here is the one that I let's say to watch. This one at the very top, how they got everybody's face boxed in and everything like that, man. All right, watch a couple of these here videos of how it's going to be to where no man may ever be able to buy or sell. All right, they already have this system in place over here in China. All right, so let's get to some scriptures. Because this here place, as you know, Babylon the Great is finished, man. And they're selling you the hopes and the dreams that you can go back to your normal way of life. All right. But this is the New World Order system that they're putting in place. All right. People used to always talk about the New World Order coming and this and that and so on and so forth. People think that these things are so far off in the future, and there's going to be a so-called person that's going to come as the quote unquote Antichrist, and he's going to do all these demonic things as a world leader. But they don't realize that all these things are happening right before their eyes right now, man. All right, so let's start off here in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 7. Babylon, all right, America hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. All right, like Homeboy was saying, it seems like all these world leaders all have a single piece of paper with the same message on there, and they're all following after these things, you know. But you would have to wonder and ask yourself, oh, well, wait a minute. All these different countries, they all believe different, supposedly believe different things on different, frequencies or whatever, whatnot, however you want to say it. You know, they don't think like the same way. You know, you got communist China, you have dictatorships and so on and so forth, and all these different ways of life. And you would think that some of these nations would be like, nah, we not falling for these types of things. We're not listening to America or whatever, whatnot. But what is actually being played out right now, man? All right, right according to what the scriptures say, he calls it all, both small and great, all, everybody. This is a global mandate that's going out. All right, let's go back to Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right, so what? They're following after America's philosophies and things like that, you know, because ultimately this is something that Esau is pushing out over all the whole globe. And you have these other nations like Moab and Ammon, Ham, Ishmael, all these other nations are following at the lead of whom? Esau. All right. Esau is the golden, America, you know, headed by Esau is the golden cup on the earth. Right. And they're all taking lead from them. All right. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. All right. What was that? Friday the 13th, 2020 was the day that they stopped the NBA. All right. And the NBA, after they stopped the NBA, everything else followed after that. That's when you started having those massive closures. You know, it was on Friday the 13th. I believe it was Friday the 13th, man. All right. That was when, how it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. All right. You see how they was talking about in that video, how they're squeezing these small businesses out of basically out of play, man, out of their position. All right, closing them down and things like that. And these big box stores or whatever, whatnot, these big chains, all right, they're falling under the ordinance and the guise of these elites, all right, forcing everybody into this here new world order system. All right, so the world economies are collapsed. All right, your lower level regular people like me, you, him, and her, our economies have collapsed, whereas our financial ways of being, you know, people can't really afford to do the things they want to normally do. I can only imagine what the hell the Christmas sales was like this year, man. All right, because a lot of the stores were closed. You can't go in the stores. All right, you know, people didn't really have that much money. You know, they over here still waiting for on unemployment checks, the first one, you know, or stimulus checks, you know, let alone able to go out here and buy toys and things like this. But nevertheless, you know, a lot of these people right now are just struggling to put food on their table. All right, but what the sentiment is, all right, look, listen, we got this here situation that we can jab y'all up with that can get y'all back to normal. All right, but we was just watching that second video about how not only in China, you know, they got like 1 million people jabbed up over it, but they still saying that, hey, you still got to wear a mask, you still got to social distance. All right, this is still a part of Hegelian dialectic, putting people in these groups, you know, problem, reaction, solution. All right, well, you know, they got the so-called solution to these things. Look, put a mask on. All right, but then that becomes tedious and a problem. All right, we'll get the jab. Well, we can't see who's got the jab, who don't got the jab, and if they're up to date with these things. We need a so-called record to be able to track and trace these people. Here comes the mark of the beast. All right. So look, they're going to keep you in this uncomfortable position until what? You start begging for their in-game agenda. All right. And people think that this here, their way of life is going to come back to normal. They can go back out to the club, be jam-packed in the club, dancing and whatever, whatnot, and the bars and restaurants and everything like that being normal again, you know, flying on planes normally. You know, no social distancing, no middle seats taken out of the planes, and all these different things. See, they have this in mind. Is the quicker we get this, the quicker we can go back to normality, man. All right, Jeremiah 51:9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So, hey, as you looking at these, first of all, a lot of these people come over to America to start businesses, right? Because why? It's a lot easier for them to start businesses over here and things like that, and to trade and to send money back home. Whereas, you know, the money more or less is always more money over here than it is anywhere else. So they can send money back and so-called come up. So they do a lot of business over here in America. But guess what? With all these mandates and these businesses closures and so on and so forth, you know, you see in the hood, go to the hood, man, go to your local gas station or whatever, whatnot. You got either Elam or Ishmael working in there. All right, you got the Weave store where you got Moab working in there. Chinese food restaurant, you got Moab working in there. All right, but a lot of these places are slowly coming to a grind because of why? Babylon is being shut down. So a lot of these people are like, shit, we over here, instead of profiting over here, we're now paying to be over here. We might as well go the fuck back home now, take our business away from this place over here, man. All right. Verse 10, verse 9 again. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. All right. So this is the time for Babylon to get that great judgment. All right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. I'm going to start at the top. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, and when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Going into Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. This is what the men of the Lord have been doing, cutting ourselves off from the world and the friends and things like that. Well, they really cut themselves off from us. But nevertheless, all these things that we were attached to in this here society, going out to the clubs, the bars and everything like that, and this being our life. All right. A lot of these things is necessarily not nothing wrong with per se, but you have, these people that, some of these chicks, especially when you're younger or whatever, whatnot, every single weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they in the club. That's what they do. Girl, we got to go out to the club, go get done up to go to the club. That's their life. You take that away from them, they don't know what the hell to do with their life, man. You have some of these men that's just on game day. They sports. They know all the stats. Like how we know the scriptures, they know all the stats like that. But when you turn these things off, they don't know what the hell to do, man. All right. So then they start trying to find some type of a comfort or some type of other way. All right. But you should have been seeking the Lord before all these things was taken away from you. Then you would be able to, know how to sustain yourself on such a, give you an example. You got, let's say all your bills come up to $100. Now you got a job that, you make $120, right? But now you got this job that's going to pay you $1,000, right? But your bills are still $100. All right. Do you turn up your way of life of living to match that $1,000 to where you still living basically paycheck to paycheck? Or do you sit there and you budget and you just like, my bills is still $100. That means I got $900 to just put away and still live under my means, because if I happen to lose this job, I don't want to get so accustomed to living at this high level to where now I got to go back down to this $100 level, and I'm used to eating X, Y, and Z every night and eating at these restaurants, driving these types of cars and living this type of lifestyle. Now your ass is hurt, man. All right. So this is what we had to do. Remember the Lord before these evil days come upon us, man. And remove yourself from these different things and learning how to live and depend and have faith on the Lord, man. All right, because in these last times, man, you got this great gross darkness covering the people, all this confusion. People don't know what the hell to do. It's going to be hard for these people who've been dependent upon this system, this government and this way of life, the normalcy of this here life, getting up and going to work at this regular job or whatever, whatnot, and going to these places all the time and traveling all the time and seeing their family all the time and so on and so forth. Now, all of a sudden, at an abrupt stop, it's going to be hard for them to sit there and try to put their faith in the Lord because they're so used to living in the carnal flesh, man. All right. Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, or the clouds return after the rain, and the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low. All right. Going to the keepers of the house and the strong men. These are the people that know what the hell is going on. Not really the elites, but like, let's say you have people that's watching the stock market and they see that this shit is coming down the pipeline. All right. They can tell the normal layman or whatever, hey, man, shit's about to get rough out here. People that are business owners or whatever, whatnot, and they, I remember back when they had Obamacare coming out and how they was talking about the health insurance and how every employer would have to provide health insurance for all their employees. Right. At that point, this was like years ago. But I remember I was dating this chick whose father was a business owner, and then from hearing how they was going to deal with these things, this is basically me listening in onto a strong man, me being a layman. I'm just an employee. I go get a job somewhere. This nigga employs people. Well, he's trying to figure out, oh, shit, this is coming down the pipeline, how it's going to affect my business. So they found out a way, like, you know what, we could just lower everybody's hours to under 32 hours. We don't have to pay for their health insurance to wind up dampening our business. So they see these things coming before the regular laymen see these things coming, man. You have a lot of these elites that are activating their doomsday bunkers, all right, that are pulling out a lot of these businesses and stocks and things like that because they see the end is coming, all right? You have these big investors pulling out these big corporations. These are the strong men that know what the hell is coming, but then you got the regular layman, all right, that's, me, you, him, and her that's going to these companies to get a job. You over here applying at this damn job. Look, bro, I'm about to get this job. We finna be on or whatever, whatnot. But the strong men, this shit's going out of business next month, bro. I don't know what the hell you talking about. All right. So what? They see these things are coming down the pipeline, man. The people that the CEOs of these airlines see how their bottom line is about to be affected. All right, so on and so forth, man. America is done, man. All right, really, the whole globe is done, man. This is why this is the time when the Lord is about to come back and deliver his people, man. All right. It says, verse 4 again, the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. All right. You know, you got these people now just looking, how you say, unemployment is out the woodwork right now, man. You know, you have, like they would say, you would see in like old videos, movies and things like that, you know, hell, they even have certain jokes like this. And sometimes this is even true. You know, if you live in a high, quote unquote, Spanish area or whatever, whatnot, especially with a lot of quote unquote Mexicans, so-called Mexicans, you know, you'll go out to the local Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that early in the morning, and these contractors, they'll pull up with a little bit of work. They go get their supplies and like, yo, y'all need some work? We'll get y'all some work for the day or whatever, whatnot, man. You know, but now you have a lot of people now, you know, those are the people that got up super early, waiting out at the Lowe's at 5:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m. looking for work, you know. But now you have this on a global scale or on a national scale as far as here in America with the unemployment, man. You have all these people that are getting up early trying to get in these lines to get what? Food stamps, unemployment, and so on and so forth, man. They trying to get this here money back to back to back, the PPE loans and everything like that, man. Because why? The money in the economy is coming to a grinding halt, man. It's coming to an end. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Salakia. But nevertheless, this is all, how do I say, the signs of the end of this here place coming to a grinding halt. All right. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right. Now, I remember when they had the first little lockdowns or whatever, whatnot, you know, they were stopping people at, you know, they had the checkpoints up. And I know here in Florida, they had checkpoints. So if you was driving from certain states, you know, they wasn't allowing you into other certain states because why? They, you know, they had quote unquote high numbers of the pandemic hitting people or whatever, whatnot, you know, all these different things going on. So what? They was putting these checkpoints up and checking people here and there. Now, we just was looking at the video about how they was going to require everybody on these airlines or flying on these planes and things like that. And don't think it's just going to be the airlines, but also bus travel, train travel, and even going across these here borders, driving in your own cars, man. All right. You're going to have that jab and the verification to say that you had these things to be able to do these things. And not only that, to stay in these hotels, man. All right. And then we also seen showcases a while back in another video about how I think it was a police chief of New York was trying to track down all these people that was coming into New York, whether they was national or international travelers coming into New York and forcing them to quarantine for 14 days, man. Now, just imagine that the regular person, all right, how many people can really take a vacation like that for 14 days just to quarantine before you go on your vacation, man? All right, let's say somebody then died in your family, all right, and you want to go to their funeral or whatever, whatnot. Like, you know, they ain't going to be 14 days from when they die. Most time they bury them within a week, man. All right. But nevertheless, you know, you got to go travel. Your grandma might have died if let's say she lived in New York, right? And you want to go travel to go see her funeral, right? You ain't got to know 14 days before she died or whatever, whatnot, to be able to travel up there 14 days ahead of time, to quarantine for 14 days, then go to the funeral, then try to travel back home. But then you stuck in another quarantine or whatever, whatnot. You know, most people are liable to lose, if they have a job, their job, or, you know, certain things that they got going on, man. All right. So your normal way of life and normal traveling, you know, some people like, yo, I'm gonna get on a plane and, you know, vacation here or there for just a weekend. I'm going out of town this weekend. Hell, you got a lot of people, especially these Edomites, that travel all the damn time, you know, with their job. Their job give them, you know, they constantly traveling, you know, throughout the week. They may go to 2 or 3 different states, never really home. The truck drivers that's driving over the road and things like this. You know, there's a lot of people that that travel, you know, all the time, like literally travel all the time. And I know a lot of people who this is part of their job. You know, they work in a whole different state than where they live at, you know, and they're constantly traveling, man. All right. So guess what? If, you know, you work somewhere where, you know, you work 3 weeks straight, you know, you get off for a week, you know, to go back home to your family or whatever, whatnot. You ain't got enough time to be able to work for 3 weeks and then fly back home and quarantine for 14 days. Well, your day off, you know, your time off is only 7 days. So what? You got to have an additional 2 weeks off just to go in quarantine before you can go home and see your family, man. This ain't quote unquote normal. People ain't going back to this here normal. This place is done, man. This place is through, man. All right. we're going to close out right here with, let me go back. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 27. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. All right. So these are the things that's, well, let me go up a little bit. The grapes shall be ripened, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another and hear his voice. So these things are coming to the point to where, like I said, you may be these types of people who go, especially a lot of these Edomites do a lot of this, where they go and they see their family all the time, travel all the time. We're going to go see grandma this time or that time. These motherfuckers be traveling like crazy, man. But guess what? They're going to desire to see these folks or whatever, whatnot, and not be able to go see them. Every Christmas we always go see grandma. We always go see them for Thanksgiving and so on and so forth, Uncle Pete and everything. But guess what? All these travel plans are all done, man. A lot of younger Jakes and stuff like that like to go and, travel now. We go to the Bahamas. We go here. We go there, blah, blah, blah. Hey, but all these things are pretty much over with now, man. It just throws a big wrench into your plans to when you have to so-called quarantine for 14 days, man. Again, people don't have time. Bro, your vacation, you have to be off for a whole month just to take a vacation. And the actual time you vacation may only be a week, man. You got 14 days to quarantine when you go out there. 7 days, let's just say, to go party. Another 14 days when you come back. That's like a whole damn month right there, man. All right. But nevertheless, these are the times that we coming into, man. Esau squeezing you to bow down into his new world order system, man. All right. Let me see. We're gonna close out with this. Let me see if I can find it. This is Joshua 24 and 14. Now, therefore, fear Yahweh and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your father served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye Yahweh. So, hey, in times like this, man, hey, put your trust in the Lord, man. Don't be over here following after these, in these times. Don't be following after these Egyptians, the pharaohs, and what they got going on, what they saying, man. All right, ultimately choose the Lord, man. Follow after the Lord and have faith in the Lord. Verse 15, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your fathers, which your fathers served, which were on the other side of the flood. And in these days, like Isaiah 30 say, hey, putting these scriptures together, choose you this day who you're going to serve. You're going to serve these Egyptians and this Pharaoh, all right? Or you're going to serve and choose to follow after the Lord, man. You going to follow after the devil, or you going to follow after the Lord? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, it's time to put up or shut up, man. All right, it's time to stop faking the funk, man. You can't be all, fuck Esau, the white man, the devil, the white man did this, the white man did that, and we Israelites and we special this and that. Fuck all of that, man. If you're going to sit here and still follow after him, how the hell you're an Israelite and the white man the devil? And, these I'm talking about you low-level people who coming into this truth, the 400-year prophecy, and we the chosen people, we the divine. How the fuck you believe all of that, but you still going over here to go get this here jab and everything like that, man, just to go back to normalcy, man? Come on, man. All right? It says, if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, which were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. All right. So, hey, ultimately, that's the ultimate choice you're gonna have to make, man. Are you gonna serve the Lord and follow after him, or are you gonna go back and cleave unto Egypt and try to get back to your quote unquote normal life, man? All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed, edify the elect. Until next time, I say stay strong. Shalom.